What up YouTube, it's Misery's Company. In today's video, I want to jump straight into the content, guys. We are going to be doing some dungeons, but I want to talk about a new survey that actually was just released somewhat recently. And I'm not going to disclose where I got this information from because I do want to keep the integrity of the individual that gave it to me. But if you aren't aware, there are pretty regularly given out surveys that are seemingly random to certain people, typically higher spenders. Oh, Himu, he's on my server. We always typically go up against each other in PvP. He's always kills me all the time. But anyway, I digress. So in Diablo Immortal, like I said, there are several surveys that are seemingly random, but typically tailored to people that have been playing the game for a while. Anyway, they get like their own demographic of people to do these surveys. And they ask very, very specific questions. And typically, it is a good indication on what Blizzard/NetEase is working on in terms of what they want to make changes to, or get a good pulse from their player base as to what they should work on next. So I have a few notes here that I want to share with you guys on things that were asked in the most recent survey so that we can maybe draw some conclusions on what's coming next to Diablo Immortal in terms of either overhauls or updates. Again, most of this stuff that they ask about is not future stuff. It's about what is already in the game and how or what we would recommend doing to change it. Now, while I am a Diablo partner, I do not get the surveys. I share my feedback in other, aspects. This is a truly non-partner way of getting information, which is good. And they've done this basically all the time. In fact, they've done this on almost all their games too, I believe. Most mobile games do this, but all companies do it as well. Most, I don't want to say all. Anyway, so the first one they talked about is overworld farming. I thought this one was very interesting. The reason is, at least in my opinion, I find it interesting, is that over on the Chinese servers, they just added a basically bot way of playing the game where it will just play for you. Intended to be for overworld farming, but it takes out the AFK farming and basically makes you a semi-active player by turning you into a bot, and you can like make certain settings. If any of you have video footage of that, please send it to me so I can share it with you guys or share it with everyone else. Oh, excuse me. But so I thought that was really interesting. So in the patch notes that we got, it said that there was no intention currently of bringing that to the sort of global servers, that it will stay as a Chinese only option. Now, I also made a video talking about how I think we could fix the AFK farming issue or maybe make it better. And the sort of TLDR of that video was to change fishing so it allows us to basically AFK farm through fishing, and it's obviously less efficient than, or it would be less efficient than doing overworld farming. But if you're just passively playing or like editing a video or recording a video, I could be doing that off to the side. So I thought that was really interesting. The next one was less surprising but still interesting nonetheless. It was Eternal Gear, Oblivion Pillars, and Terror Rifts. So these are all the new things that came to the game. There's been a lot of feedback, mostly negative, on how those things work. And they've already made changes already from the initial rollout. And the initial rollout was rough. I mean, being very critical, it was not a good, smooth rollout. It was very buggy. It took them about a day to fix it. So like if you took off for work to play that major update, you didn't have a good time that first day, i.e. me. So yeah. So that it was interesting they asked about that. So again, Oblivion Pillars, Eternal Gear, Terror Rifts, and Eternal Gear all together. So basically all the new stuff that just came in the major patch. Again, most of that was very, very critically acclaimed to be not a good patch. Eternal Gear, at least in my opinion, I don't want to speak on anyone else except for my own opinion, was not what I expected. It is very hard to come by, and it's also not incredibly obvious, or at least it wasn't incredibly obvious at first, what it looks like. Now, we have since learned that it does look a little different. Let me see if Himu has any. He does farm a lot. He does not. So it does look a little different. I know I don't have any. Let's see if anyone else in this party does. It looks ever so slightly different. Okay, so this is Eternal Gear. So you can see the slight difference here in the design. This is an Eternal piece of gear, so it has 4 different magic properties, and it looks like the combat rating is pretty substantially higher than anything else, and it's triple stat. So that is Eternal Gear. Now, we know that more is going to be coming for Eternal Gear, but it overall was not widely appreciated or widely welcomed. So I'm glad to see that they're asking for feedback, again, outside of the Diablo partners, and get more of a true community feedback as to what people think about it, because honestly, it's very rare, and it was, I don't want to say poorly explained, but it was misleadingly explained, at least in my opinion. It was very easy to misunderstand. How about that? That's probably a more fair way of saying it. It was easy to misunderstand in which the way they explained it. What else? So they also, the last two things they talked about in the survey or asked about to the player base is BGs and resonance. Okay. Not terribly surprised that BGs or Battlegrounds was asked about, because it can be pretty frustrating currently to play Battlegrounds. It is, at least in my opinion, a little better because it's not, I personally have experienced a lot less poorly matched games. You know what I mean? Like I've actually enjoyed my times in BGs. Now I'm not back up to gold or legend yet. I'm currently in silver, I think like 2, so still a ways to go, but honestly it hasn't been terrible. It hasn't been a terrible experience, and every single update we get, whether it be small or big, they are making adjustments to matchmaking, and so they're aware it's an issue. So it's good that they're constantly keeping a good pulse on that. So again, Overworld Farming, Eternal Gear, Oblivion Pillars, Terror Rifts, Eternal Gear, BGs, and Resonance were the 7 big items that were asked about. Which, honestly, all of those are really, really good things to hear about. I'm slightly surprised that Familiars weren't mentioned. I know that in other surveys and other things that have been talked about, that did come up, so maybe they have the information that they want for Familiars and whatever they end up doing to either change, adjust, or add new. So maybe that will come. But again, of these 7 items, let me know which one is most important to you. Again, the 7 items were Overworld Farming, Eternal Gear, Oblivion Pillars, Eternal Gear, again, I just realized I wrote that down twice, and Terror Rifts. So, or BGs and Resonance. Of all those things on the list, which one strikes closest to you as one that you would like to see either improvements to or changes to? Again, I do share feedback from my channel as like in my conversations with the devs when we get the chance to have those types of conversations. So let me know any other all feedback you want to share. And again, anything that is most popular, not everything, but the most popular items I will share when I get the opportunity to. But let me know which of these are most important to you and which ones you hope to see some changes. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. Until next time, I hope to see you in a video soon.